If you live in or are thinking about moving to Montgomery Township in central New Jersey, or just want to understand what's actually happening in the market, you're in the right place. I'm Josh Wilton, and this is the Wilton Report. Welcome back, everybody. And today we're going to be really talking about Montgomery Township. We're going to do sort of a high-level walkthrough. We're going to talk about schools. We're going to talk about parks. We're going to talk about the founder, at least the name that Montgomery was founded after, and give you some insights if you're thinking to moving this to this rather incredible central New Jersey town. So let's get to it. Again, we're talking about Montgomery Township. It's got history, space, crazy good schools, lifestyle perks, and it's about to get a Whole Foods. So things are really booming in Montgomery Township. So original inhabitants of Montgomery Township, the Lenni Lenape, which it was an Indian tribe really in New Jersey, and they lived on the Millstone River and all the surrounding land in Montgomery. So if you're wondering why it became a farming community, it's because it's got great land, it's got great access to water. It was originally the Dutch and English farmers who came in and unfortunately, or displaced the indigenous population in the early 1700s. So Montgomery has had a very long agricultural identity. To this day, they have a rodeo every year in Montgomery Township. So the township was formed in 1798 and named after General Richard Montgomery, a Revolutionary War hero, who later was actually killed in Quebec during the Revolutionary War. So the township was named after a Revolutionary War hero. Did not know that myself. It has a lot of older churches. Its first church, I think it was the Blauenberg Historical Church, was formed in the 1700s and is still going today. So, it has a strong cultural identity. So, and it's interesting because Montgomery Township is one of the greenest, most pastoral areas here. And I think that's tied to its agrarian roots. So Montgomery Township has about 24,000 residents. It has a very strong family professional demographic. And I would describe the growth in Montgomery Township as steady and intentional rather than overdevelopment. So they've really tried to preserve green acres. They have a heavy investment in farm preservation in Montgomery Township. So as you drive up and down 206, formerly known as the King's Highway, you'll see a lot of green acres right on the main roads in Montgomery Township. So Montgomery Township is a massive community. So I'd say the center part, and maybe one of the more expensive parts, is Skillman. So Skillman is basically due northwest of Princeton. Belmead is the easternmost section of Montgomery Township. And then you have what I call the Blue Spring Corridor, which is a townhouse community just due north of Princeton, right over the Princeton line on the Princeton border. You have Cherry Valley Country Club community. You have a 55-plus community. You have Rocky Hill. Montgomery Township is a big municipality. It's got a lot of diversity in terms of housing stock. We're going to look at prices later. So schools, let's talk about schools. Schools in Montgomery, well, schools are a major driver of real estate. So if you've watched this podcast in the past, it's access to jobs. That's number one. Number two is really schools, right? Affordability obviously plays into that, but, leaving that out, it's access to jobs and schools. So Montgomery is not on the train line. So what's a major driver in Montgomery Township? It's a school district. So it's amongst the top public schools in the state of New Jersey. It's one of the very strong reasons why people like moving to Montgomery. It's got 5 schools. So it's Orchard Hill Elementary, PK to 2, Village Elementary, grades 3 to 4, Montgomery Lower Middle School, grades 5 to 6, Montgomery Upper Middle School, grades 7 to 8, and then, of course, Montgomery High School. Montgomery High School is a beautiful campus. My kids played sports there for years. So beautiful, beautiful facility, great athletic teams, great academic reputation. When you look at Montgomery Township, at least in 2025, when I'm shooting this one, it's ranked number 28 out of 243 different districts in the state of New Jersey. That's amazing. And it's been climbing rapidly. So it's amongst the best school districts for athletes in New Jersey. And it's number 186 out of 376 in terms of the best places to teach in New Jersey. So That's according to niche.com for school rankings. So one of the things I wanted to do today was kind of give you like a comparison. Like if I'm moving to Montgomery, I want to get a single family house. What's it going to cost in comparison to, let's say, I don't know, Princeton? So the average price for a single family in West Windsor was $891,000, right? That's year to date 2025. In Princeton, an average single family is $1.780 million. Montgomery, it's $1.109. Now, I will tell you that has jumped dramatically in the last 5 years, as have all real estate prices in New Jersey, really across the country. But Montgomery especially has been at a pretty scorching pace. And I contribute that to two factors. One, you can buy a $1.3 million colonial, right? Like we just sold about 3 weeks ago, 1.3 and change. That house would cost you 2.3 in Princeton. So you're getting a lot more house. It's a more car-driven community than other parts of Mercer County. Like you can't really get anywhere in Montgomery. There's no train. There are buses, but there's no train. You have to drive to the train or drive to your destination. The most expensive single family in Montgomery, one of my colleagues might have sold it, was $2.050 million. Princeton, the most expensive single family, was $5.39 million, right? West Windsor was $2.2 million. The low for Montgomery was $425,000. Princeton was $525,000. West Windsor was $426,000. So you can see that you get a little bit more, well, not a little bit more, a lot more house for your money than in Princeton. What you're trading is walkability, right? But you're getting more space. You're getting a great school district. You're getting a very green feeling town. It's just very pastoral. A lot of farms, a lot of open space, a lot of preservation going on. But what they're doing is making a lot of the growth along the 206 corridor. So that's where the Whole Foods is. Apartments are going in there. There's a 55 plus community right behind there. Princeton Airport's in Montgomery, which is just south of all this development and just north of Princeton. So it has a lot going on as a township, and it's one that we're going to continue to watch as prices go. But that's, if you're moving to Montgomery Township, right, you have to act fast. That's number one. Number two, you have to know the difference in the prices in the different neighborhoods. A colonial in Cherry Valley is going to be priced very differently than a colonial in Belmead. Why? Location, right? A large number of the houses in Montgomery are on septic versus public. There are some public pockets throughout the township. So that does keep your taxes low because there's no sewer tax. There's no tax to maintain the sewage system in Montgomery. So overall, great community, a lot happening there in terms of real estate, a lot of development, a lot of new restaurants, a lot of new shops. It's not exactly walkable as a municipality, but there are going to be pockets within a year or two as this community develops where you're going to have walk to the supermarket, walk to the movie theater, walk to restaurants. Montgomery's never had that in its history. So something to watch. So again, if this was helpful, hit subscribe. You can find the subscribe button so you don't miss future episodes. If you know somebody that's thinking of moving to or from the central New Jersey area, feel free to give them my number, 609-773-8054, or just share this broadcast with them. And again, this is the Wilton Report, and I'm Josh Wilton.